Hi, this is Dr. Joannides, Chief Medical Director at Optimum Re, and this is the Optimum Academy. This is on Insurance Lab Trending 101, video number 1, What is Lab Trending? So let's get started. So lab trending is the utilization of lab data from the insurance labs that process blood on applicants who are applying for life insurance. And lab trending data can provide exploratory and predictive analytics to optimize our business actions. And you can see here, when we have objectives in the business, using data to help us with understanding our data and predictive analytics or anticipating outcomes from that data can be very useful. So, in life underwriting, the rationale for requirements of fluid testing and a paramedical exam are to precisely assess and stratify mortality risk based on a series of blood and urine chemistry tests and paramedical exam findings in applicants 18 years old and older. Companies that are still doing fluid testing can use those results and findings from the paramed exam, and they're very valuable tools in risk selection and helping to maintain excellent actual to expected mortality results. Optimum Re and Exam One Lab have put together a trending report project, and this is an exclusive project to review lab and exam results to determine if any new trends are present. US and Canadian lab samples and exam variables will be reviewed on a quarterly basis, and monthly mean data that's derived from all the Exam 1 samples tested per month, which is a very large number, can help us determine what is going on under the surface or behind the curtain. Trends that are noted will be highlighted to determine if they can provide any useful predictive insights that can affect life underwriting. So, lab trending can highlight both subtle changes in the applicant pool, possibly prospecting in higher or lower risk groups, or deeper penetration into new groups, and lab result variation can be noted due to Exam 1 technical lab analysis changes, either an analytical or a standardization change, or perhaps less than ideal paramedical specimen collection or pre-analytic delays. So what are the kind of things that we would look for in our lab trending report? And this gives us an idea of what variables we can look at in terms of the mean data over a huge number of applicants on a quarterly basis. So you can see that we can look at A1C or BMI from the paramed exam, or cholesterol HDL ratios, liver function results, HDL, hepatitis B and C rates, urine cotinine. So lots of different indicators. And then at the bottom, you can see where it says all. That's like if you put all the samples together. Gender means we can split it into female versus male. Policy size, we can split it into different policy sizes to see if that has an influence on the results. Age range, so we can pick different decades of age range to compare and see which age range might have a higher level of high values in some of these variables. And then we can also slice and dice by state to compare states to see if there's a state difference. So we can get lots of different ways to look at the data and determine if these can help us with predictive insights into what's going on with applicants for life insurance. Changing analytical platforms for A1C is an example, and there is variability when labs change the equipment they use to test for A1C. And in 2017, exam 1 changed from testing A1C, that's hemoglobin A1C for diabetes control, on the Roche platform to the Abbott Architect platform. A definite reduction in the mean results of A1C samples were noted. This was due to a change in the testing equipment, not a change in the population being tested. And I'll show you what happened. So you can see in late 2016, when exam 1 was still using Roche equipment, the mean A1C over many thousands and thousands of applicants was close to 5.6, 5.7. When the new equipment was put in, that is the Abbott Architect system, in March of 2017, you can see that there was a dramatic drop in the A1C down to the 5.3 to 5.2 range. And this was solely due to the equipment change, not a change in applicant pool. In March of 2024, exam 1 converted from the Abbott Architect system back to Roche using the Roche Cobas platform, and they sent out some helpful information that the Roche system has an upward bias in A1C levels. So they gave a heads up to all the companies that used their labs, and that they might find that A1C levels were slightly higher. So let's see what happened. So remember that the A1C had dropped when exam 1 switched to the Abbott Architect system. When they went back to Roche, you can see that the A1C level, the mean level over thousands and thousands of applicants, went up to the 5.7 level. This is just due to equipment change, not due to a change in the applicant population. So this kind of combines the two changes that were made, Roche to Abbott and Abbott back to Roche. So you can see how A1Cs can differ just based on the equipment that's being used. So we call it Roche has a positive bias in terms of A1C results. So exam 1 A1C results after March 25th, 2024 were approximately 0.3% higher. So this is from exam 1, the advice they gave. It says, during the laboratory validation testing conducted at Quest, Abbott Architect showed a slightly negative bias, while Roche Cobas showed a slightly positive bias, meaning higher A1C levels, both within the allowable limits when compared to target hemoglobin A1C levels established through the National Glycohemoglobin Standardization Program. However, it should be noted that the slightly positive platform of the Roche, the slightly positive bias towards in the Roche platform could potentially increase the number of applicants or patients who are classified as having prediabetes or diabetes compared to the Abbott Architect platform. So they were giving helpful instruction that direct life companies and reinsurers should be aware that switching back to Roche could have a positive or bias to increase A1C levels. So here's just some additional information that can be gleaned in our lab trending reports regarding A1Cs. You can see that A1Cs are higher on smaller amount policies and applicants who are older. So A1Cs were noted to be higher on policies of 250,000 or less, and higher on policies and lower on policies 1 million or larger. A1Cs are higher on applicants aged 60 to 69 versus applicants aged 30 to 39, and A1Cs are similar in different parts of the U.S., such as Arizona and Alabama, and in Canada, such as Alberta and Quebec. Mean A1Cs on smaller dollar policies versus larger dollar policies are shown here. And you can see that the A1C mean is higher in the blue dots, the blue line, for policies that are lower versus policies which are of a higher amount, which is the red dots and red line noted here. And then this shows that mean A1Cs on ages 30 to 39 versus ages 60 to 69 are shown here. The red dots are the older group, 60 to 69, with a higher A1C, and the blue dots are ages 30 to 39 with the lower line. And here's just showing you when we compare states that the A1Cs were similar in Alabama and Arizona. So we can also look at data based on states. So in summary, this quarterly review can highlight trends in lab testing and paramedical exam results that otherwise may not be apparent. And this information may be useful to life companies' underwriting, research, and actuarial departments. So that completes video number 2. Stay tuned for video number 3 to continue our series on PEth, a new alcohol marker.